Now, I have to apologise quickly. Because, well, I'm running a little bit late today, and I do apologise. I apologise because, quite simply, I'm brew delivery. So, hello everyone. I'm just sorting out some iron brew. 6 bottles of iron brew have arrived. This is not my weekly, so this is my entire weekly supply. Yes. So yeah. Just sorting this out, and I quickly got this in here, and then realised, hang on, I've dropped it on my chair. I'm sorting everything out. Well, you know, delivery drivers, and deliver. Hello everyone. How are we all doing? Hello Runon. How is everyone doing? I'm just okay, if I do this, it follows me down. You can see a line of bottles between me and the screen. I'm just going to sort that out so that I actually have access to the screen. Will this go in? That will go in. That'll probably fill up a glass. So stick that in there. And the rest of the 4 of you are going to go down there, I think. You can go down there with the Royal Navy calendars, which people keep buying me. And I do love. But the trouble is, this is going to sound terrible, and I mean this in a nice way, and I don't want this to get out. Okay? People buy me the Royal Navy calendar. And lots of friends buy me it and think it's a really great gift to buy me because no one else will think about it. And no one else will think of it. And I sort of go, well, yeah, that's a lovely gift. And I'm really, really thankful for it. Trouble is, about a dozen friends have the same idea. And I go, I'll just put one of them up. And the others, I will, to be honest, I tend to give them to my little cousins. So they have something, and they quite like them. Because otherwise they get just, you know, what they consider baby calendars. Mine is an adult calendar. And I tell them which friend bestowed it on them. So they know who to be extra nice, but they also know, be quiet about it. Hello, Paul. I have to say very thankful to you, because your book's arrived. And I finally got a chance to decently read it. And thank you very, very much, Paul. I will be responding to your letter appropriately in kind. But, yeah. That's going to be a case of when I have a little bit more time this week. Just a little bit more time is all I request. Just a little bit more time. How is everyone doing today? How are we all today? Is everyone happy? Is everyone enjoying their lives? Because, you know, there's an honest question here. Are you all enjoying yourselves? Just been watching Garius on Twitch. He is an incredibly funny and incredibly kind man. I would like to point this one out. He doesn't always get enough said about him, but he is absolutely lovely. I work with him so often on so many different things, and he's just so nice to people. I'm working again this week, and he's been really, really helpful. And you sit there and go, you don't have to be this kind and this helpful, because you are incredibly busy. You could quite easily say, I am too busy, I can't help. And yet he helps. He always helps. It's repeating itself, isn't it? Oh Oh, it is. Well, at least I'm sure I'm live now. Two years mission work. Now, that is a very, very brave person. That is 2 years mission. Oh, does depend, though. I met someone the other day who described themselves as being on a mission, and they're in the UK. And I was looking at them going, this is not really what I picture as mission work. I can understand you are ministrating to people, but you have come from America to mission in the UK, and it's... Well, it's not really what I picture in my head. When I picture people on mission, when I think about my own family history of the people who went on missionary work, they went to places which were a good deal less accommodating than the contrast from America to Britain today. Yeah, I understand. It's very brave going outside the state, going outside home, going that sort of thing. But there is part of me who sort of goes, there is mission work and there is mission work, and it's a case of it. Both are important roles. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say anything again negative on that. But there is. How do I put it? There is mission work and there is luxury mission work. If that sounds cruel, there is mission working in a country which. Yeah. But I have great respect for people who do it. I'm not the kind of soul who's going to do that well. And so I have great respect for the people who do it in whatever circumstances. I always find it quite fun when they say when they've been on a mission. They've been mission to France or Britain or Germany or all these other countries, and I'm going, you're doing an important work, yes, but it's not what I mentally in my mind describe to mission work. In Nepal, yeah, that's. That it sounds terrible to say this, but yeah, it's when you're coming to sort of this area from this area, it's still mission work because you're going there to spread the word, spread your belief, which is still mission work, but it's kind of mission work with a bit of luxury. Going forward from last night's brew ships, do you see the way? Well, isn't tonight's brew ships or last week's brew ship? Do you see the way the World War II would have developed? Would have been very different to what actually happened. Honestly, if you just consider you're doubling the number of carriers alone, and yes, you're doubling the number of carriers because he doesn't want to cancel for 2 of the Lexingtons. But you're doubling the number of carriers alone. And if you think about that, start off World War II with twice as many carriers. Start off Britain in 1939 with twice as many carriers. What happens? Does Courageous get to go? Does Glorious go out on her own? Is Courageous doing that operation with twice the tonnage? Have they built a load of 15,000 ones? I guessed what you're meaning, Paul, about the Tillman video. If Britain's built a whole load of 15,000-ton escort carriers, cruiser carriers, there's no way that Courageous is out doing that anti-submarine mission like Ark Royal wouldn't be out doing it at the same time with her. It's often forgotten Ark Royal was with Courageous when Courageous got sunk. And it's the same with, Glorious being on her own. And then you've got Taranto, that's not going to be a single carrier operation. Hi, Gaza 14. It's just... so many things change. Any war that happens is going to be very different. Any war that happens is going to be very, very different. I haven't got enough tonnage done now. Double alone! I have a battlecruiser armed with 40... They should win that. The fact it was a draw worries me. They had a battle cruiser in that fight. Two Cardiff class? Both Cardiff class light cruisers. They should win that. Draw. No damage done to my ships though. Okay. Convoy over here. Should win. Another draw. Well, it's auto demal out. Let's see. Convoy. She's armed with what? 10-inch guns. Cardiff. The invasion, that should succeed. Let's go to ship design, because if I remember correctly, the Lion class need to be upgraded desperately, don't they? Paul, Chaos Runner? Paul, wouldn't having 15 16-inch gun battleships plus sea carriers put off nations starting wars it would easily blockade it? Well, you'd be dealing with the fact that America would have 6, Britain would have 5, Japan would have some. I honestly don't think Italy would have any 16-inch guns. I think they go with the Francisco Caracolas. As I said, my strong suspicion is that they slow walk through completing 3 Francisco Caracolas, because then they do, and maybe the 4th one becomes a carrier. That's the interesting thing. The 4th one could become a carrier. Naval invasion going there, naval invasion going there, naval invasion going on down here. Oh, that should be a win. We are going to take Reunion. I have forgotten where. I remember last time I'd forgotten where Reunion was, wasn't I? Oh. As for easy to blockade, etc., you know, I think the really interesting thing for me is under that Tillman-Washington Treaty scenario, what Germany does, because let's be honest, if we're talking about the Bismarck, which was the Bismarck and the Scharnhorst class, were the absolute nth degree of what they could produce at that point, and then the Bismarck class of what they could produce at the next point. And yeah, Bismarck could do 30 knots, but if you've got 5 9 16-inch gun 28-knot battleships going around in the Royal Navy, 30 knots is not a lot of security. 30 knots is not a lot of security. And as said, if you've also upgraded the Queen Elizabeths to the same level, then Britain could have 10 28-knot battleships in service, plus whatever King George V are in service, and renowned Repulse and Hood. That makes things different. Yes, you've got 30-knot speed advantage, but they've got to blockade you, so they don't have to. In this way, it's not a case of an easy race for you, because you are going to be trying to race through here. They've only got to get to here to block you. And if they angle themselves, yeah, they can still intercept. And the thing is, that's their advantage. So, add that with carriers. You know, more carriers going around. You've got the Battle of Denmark Straits could well be 2, as I've said, 28-knot Nelrod style F3 style Nelrods, with each with 9 16-inch guns going hello. No Hood, no Prince of Wales there. In which case, you've got to have a very different Bismarck if you want to blast that through. They could blockade... Well, no, you can't really blockade Germany as soon as they go into Poland. You could try, but you've got to get through to Denmark straight. You've got to do all sorts of negotiations. And remember, when Germany invades Norway, they also invade Denmark at the same time. In fact, they do Denmark first. So that's your problem. You're just wondering, you always speak highly of the French World War II Dunkirk class, but seem mere to not good for the Rickaloo. Where did the French go wrong to them? It's not so much they go wrong with the Rickaloo class, it's just that... How do I put this? I have a real role and position for the Dunkirks. I really do see what they are for. And I defend them because some people call them battle crews and all sorts of things. To me, the Rickaloos are a nice design. They honestly are. But, and this is the important thing, they've got 2 quad turrets forward with 15-inch guns. That's fine. They're not... How do I put this? Basically, the Rickaloos for me, they are too much of a class. They're a continuation of Dunkirks rather than the French really trying to push themselves. And there are reasons for that. But it's... When I'm looking at the Rickaloos, I'm disappointed because they didn't really have them available to do anything with them. If that makes sense. But I'd also not describe me as being meh with them. It's just... They're just... The Dunkirks have a specialist role, and you can see what their role is, and they're racing to get those in. And then they're, to trying to get those into viability. And then you've got the Rickaloos coming up, and they are... We hear there are Littorios, here's what we're building. And it's a case of, okay, you're keeping them the form, everything's there. Your main problem is you have the advantage you can orientate your ship directly towards the enemy so you can provide a smaller target. But it also means you're going to be a closing target if they want to bring their full force to fire. If they try and do a closing on you, they've got 6 guns to your 8. But it's Dunkirks in their time are something new and interesting. By the time the Rickaloos are being built, they are part of the pack. If that makes sense. So it's not so much trying to speak badly of them. It's just that, compared to everything else being building, they're not the French doing what the French can do, which is be innovative. They are the French going, we're building something to the same level as everyone else. And the French needed something better than that, because, as I said before, the trouble for the French is the moment they are locked into a treaty where they have to equal the Italy's, and they cannot build more than them, they are limited to the Mediterranean, unless their ships are strong enough that even a few of them can hold off the Italian strength, and then they can watch the rest of the world. The moment you have that treaty limitation, you are either, as France, forced to pay attention to the Mediterranean or the rest of the world. You can't do both. Hi, Jonathan Moon. Hi, Spike. Those naval things are going quite well. No ships I can move there. Oh, yeah. Where's she? I still do not know why a battleship ended up in Barcelona. It's currently being refitted, isn't it, to the latest standard of Lion. Got two battleships going for a refit. Or repair. I'm building 29 ships though. I'm really overstraining all my yards, aren't I? I know I'm doing it, and yet I'm still doing it. Why has my unrest gone up to 11.5? I don't like my unrest being that high. So how's everyone doing today? And you might have noticed I have got a new t-shirt today. Let's quickly unlock that. Wrong. Far too low. There you go. No fluff's given. I thought it was a cool corgi t-shirt. Spike, been thinking. Oh, let's see. Yes. Been thinking about your recent gift of the Master Arm from. The only addition to the regular terms of conduct I can think of is controls people speaking over each other, which does include me on occasions. Yes, but I decided that I would do. How'd I put this? You were volunteered for the role, and I was not unhappy with the volunteering. So basically, yeah, it works. This is got 12-inch guns and 15-inch guns versus this lot of. Holy guacamole! This is going to be a mighty battle. Paul said, I thought it was a very good choice. Yes! Hello, Random Dale Farm. No, it doesn't. Cool corgi. It is a cool corgi. I'm rather proud of this shirt. I have to say, I do sometimes find it funny in that some of the comments you get on YouTube. Okay, Battleship Division. They're on screen. They're on Scout. You can also go to screen. You go to that. That. If you're damaged, I prefer you send that. Screen. Right on. Avoid torpedoes. Avoid. Avoid is on. Avoid is on. Right on. I've got a lot of destroyers here, which I can deploy to attack. And I'm going to deploy them. Maximum speed for all of you, destroyers. Mainly because I can. I'm gonna guess that's their battleship. Yeah, that's their battleship. Let's see how this goes. Ah. How was, guys, a CK3 CK3 stream this evening? This morning. If it's anything like the videos, they can be very funny. Like the one I had where a guy was explaining that World Trade next was invented by, and they had some interesting views. Well, you know, you get some comments which are interesting. Like I had one which was going on someone. Yes, things have improved since women have had the vote. So I'm sort of going, actually, they broadly speaking have. And it's right, they do have the vote, because if you take as your basic idea something like no taxation or legislation without representation, then that means everyone has the right should have the right to vote. Barring they lose it for some sort of reason, like maybe they while they're in prison or jail, because the whole point of being sent to jail, etc., is you lose certain rights, certain things you can normally exercise as an independent person. Where are my cruisers? They're all over there. Okay. But it's I've lost 2 destroyers, but otherwise I think I'm okay. There is a battleship which is sinking over here. There is a cruiser which is sinking here. And that was their last boat. But it's a case of... Yeah, there are some comments you sit on YouTube and you go, why are you even making that comment? Why? Or I have another fun, which I will probably be having to talk about in brew ships later. I'm sure I'm going to have to comment. Is there's someone who is very upset with the way I keep saying I refer to it as the Democrat Party instead of the Democratic Party. And I was so tempted to say, well, for starters, I'm British, so I don't really care that much. But also, secondly, people understand what I'm saying. But thirdly, because I'm British, in the UK, the good example is the fact that the Conservative Party is technically a Conservative and Unionist Party, and more often than not, it's called a Tory Party. There is, you know, the fact in Britain we really don't care about political party names. We really do have fun winding them up with them. So, yeah. And they'll find he joined an empire, immediately started a war of dissolution, and won it without trying. That is normally his way. He is incredibly skilled. And I play CK3, And honestly, I am nowhere near as good as him, which is why I will never do a CK free stream. Never, because I cannot in any way, shape, or form match up to the quality of that gentleman. If he wanted to play in a UAD stream, I could beat him on UAD. My ship designs would win the fight. But I don't think it allows for that. Sadly enough, I'm not sure. If there is a method of playing UAD, design your own fleets versus design your own fleets, I'd love to play that game. Versus him, but you know. I know. Somewhat to the issue of actually putting the style guide, the publishing style guide, in my YouTube video, in a comment, and I went, well, A, I applaud the effort, but B, how does that apply to me? BBC Africa got light damage. They lost an entire fleet. It's just getting worse, this game, in terms of my total control of the world. Oh, there's a convoy going on here. Why would they run a convoy through here? Why? Where is that convoy going to? That's not just another place where you run a convoy through. Free naval invasions going on. How's my research budget going? What am I spending my money on? Rangefinders, they're a long way away. Armor quality's a long way away. Special machinery, what special machinery is coming? Electric batteries. Ooh, I want those. I like them. I like them. Explosives, what's coming? Torpedo contact exploder. That'll be nice. Submarine improvements. Enhanced submarine torpedoes, submarine hulls, what's coming? Oh, mine land submarine 4, you know I like that. You know I like that, so I'm going to go for those. And I'm going to get myself some submarines. Hello, Malaga. I'm still beating up the French. Gentlemen, have designed some very capable, mostly really. Well, you see, that's the next thing I've been considering as a competition, to do a design competition, a ship design competition. That's the one that that's what I would like to do for later in the year, and I'd like to have books for that as what I'll be doing, and to sort of do for that one. I've got to send some books out in post. I have got to get around to that, but the thing is, it's going to be fun. And then, this is going to sound strange, but I am going to do a DRAC in terms of contact address once we move, because it'll make more sense then. Hang on. Random question. How do you spell wheat? As in wheat from the chaff? Why did my alliance break with Japan? Did I do something that broke my alliance with Japan? Wheat. It's right. Okay, I spelled it correctly. I have to say, one of the things I'm most interested by is the sheer amount of discussion currently going on in my channel about the cost of Iron Brew. Yeah. Alright, to the battle. So, I think what we do in this battle is pause everything. You guys, you detach. Because you're a 30-knot ship. Are there any other 30-knot ships around? So, Vanquisher... I want to send... Okay. Minstrel. Go to there, because you're a 33-knot ship. Vanquisher. You're a 33-knot ship. None of them are 33-knot ships. Minion is a 33-knot ship. Maximum speed, people. Go off and go hunting. Okay, screen. 23.5 knot. Move Gloucester. Right, now I've set this up appropriately to how I want to run it. Go forth. Basically, we're taking off with this and 3 destroyers to protect it. Because, frankly, this way it means that no small things are going to come in and cause it trouble. Yeah. Iron Brew is £2 for 2 litres at the moment. What is she? And where are my 5 cruisers? They're actually managing to damage themselves doing this, bashing into each other. Where is the enemy? Right. I swear it does do damage. Randolph, at some point, I'd like to get your input on name of fictional Japanese towns. Ooh, Leslie is a good person to get details on that. Yeah, I have noticed that if I go to Cornwall, it's far closer to £1.70 for most of these things, and it's £2 up here. The one exception occasionally being the joyous thing that is known as Asda, with Asda price. You are low on fuel. We've got you 25% identified, and I have no doubt if you could do anything faster, you'd be going faster. You can do 31 knots. Oh, no wonder you're not pulling away. There is literally nothing in this pack you can actually get away from. You're in torpedo range, you're in all sorts of things. I think there's about 40 torpedoes in the water heading towards it. That's the case of, you will die by torpedo. How can you be sure? There are about 40 heading towards you. Good luck trying to avoid them all. Oh, that was a good battle. That was the kind of battle I like. The kind of odds I like to fight. It was, you know. Take care, Runa. Oh, I can now do a vertical live. To reach new viewers, I can do streaming straight to mobiles. Oh, good lord. That's worrying. I do notice how quickly people are pointing out the problem with trying to get the ultimate battleship and building the ultimate battleship. What I carefully didn't point out was the fact the British had tried it with the Dreadnought and hadn't gone far enough. Oh, good. This is not a crash of fleets. This is a ship which has a top speed of 18 knots versus a lot of ships which don't have a top speed of 18 knots. They're pretty much all 28 knot ships, aren't they? Yeah, fight this battle. I can now do vertical streaming on mobile. Okay. It will happen. At some point. You know it's going to happen. We'll do a vertical stream from somewhere. It'll probably be from Norway or Sweden. I doubt it'll be from Finland. Mainly because we're going to be having too much other fun there. Oh, it's all battleships like this. Oh! Okay, so, pause. And you can all go into there. And you can do that, but you can be line abreast, tight formation. Take you down to about... keep it at 27 knots. And you can be in... follow. And... follow. So everyone's sort of nicely organised. Thank you. And we'll now go for it. I'd like it noted that I do not consider myself evil for doing this, but I do think that having 6 28-knot battleships involved in this fight might be mildly on the cruelty side. When the enemy you're fighting is capable of 18 knots. Well, 19 if you're being really nice. So that's 9 16.5-inch guns on each ship. So basically, this ship is looking behind him and going, okay, yes, we extensive fire damage. Yeah. We've got enough firepower to single-handedly destroy an entire small country's fishing industry. I think one of those battleships has that. Hot tub streams. Oh, yeah, we could do a stream from a hot tub. That would freak out quite a few people. I wonder how many questions I'd get if I did a brew ships from a hot tub. I mean, killing all the fish in their water. Yeah. Yeah, that would work. Oh, good lord. Doing quite well. We have won control of Reunion. Okay, where shall we invade next? I don't know why the French have fleets out here, because it's just not a good idea for them. Considering the ships I have sitting out here. Political. Invasion. Where can I invade? French Ghana. I have French Ghana. That's going to be... there. And yeah, this is far more fleet than I need for that invasion. So yeah, let's let that go through, and then next thing we'll get involved. We'll fight that battle. We will command that battle ourselves, because it is going to be a battle for the ages. It is truly going to be a battle for the ages. Look, why would you ruin a perfectly nice hot tub session for myself and Drakinafel by making us talk about Lexington battlecruisers, German destroyers, and the burn? We'll be heating the water, not the water heating us. Yes, Wales basically suffered a lot in World War One and Two from anti-submarine patrols. Oh yeah. Oh, it's one of my favourite types. It's a Coventry. Oh, look at those. All those 6-inch guns. And 3-inch guns and torpedoes. 9 torpedoes per side. Oh, good. That's what we want to get to. We don't give a flying hoot about you. You're a thing that we have to get past. What I care about is that convoy. And I will quite happily blast past you, because I'm fairly certain I can blast past you. Unless you're already turning, you have no chance of catching up with me. And I have put torpedoes in the water, so you better be turning, because otherwise you're going to get hit by them. I put a lot of torpedoes in the water. Oh, I'm going to do something really evil to you. You are a heavy cruiser, I know, but I am going to literally pass between you and your ships you're supposed to be protecting. You're not supposed to do as a cruiser when you're escorting convoy? Get so far away that someone like me can pass between the two of you. Just casually cruising up their entire line and going, yeah, you will not get anywhere. think Diego Quinet is going to be over this. I could end the battle now, but I'm not going to. High speed, low drag. I've got no damage done to me at all. You've got no damage to you. You are a heavy cruiser. I'm going to do this properly. I've made sure they've all sunk. You've still got not anywhere near them. At all. Anywhere near them. Nowhere near them at all. Guys, just see the B-24. We see the subs. But then drop step charges. Merchant set captain. We got whales on many, lad. Said, should tell them what happened, captain. Nah. No. Your top speed is 19.3 knots. You have got 6.6-inch guns, and 8 of them. I've got 4 6-inch guns. I'm a light cruiser. Hit, torpedo. This is a interesting battle. You know, I don't think the Eros have got torpedoes left. You're just gonna sit out of range and blast them. I like your style. Let's see. Ooh, Kofi's advertising. Why 4 single sixes? Because at the time I couldn't build twin sixes. Now I've got twin versions. Well, no aggressive super build super aggressive sub build will work on UAD. Pretty sure you need a good amount of surface vessels to do the invasion and convoy missions. Yep. Although I have got a pretty aggressive sub build on my video on this channel, on this campaign. They're actually repairing stuff. I got the fires under control. They're getting things back in condition. Oh, fire's broken out again. Oh, it's terrible. End the battle, because we might as well. We won. And honestly, what does that help me? Well, the odds are I get Triumph before she returns home. But more importantly, if she does return home, she's then going to block up their yard space. You always have an aggressive sub-build. Yeah, it might have been because I realised very quickly on the subs were a hack to stop you getting invaded. That they, if you have enough submarines, it just makes any person trying to invade you absolutely insane with, ah, no, I'm going to lose all my ships. Yep. Why is there a battle? Why would anyone be fighting a battle in there? Why would you... Why are the French running a force up to here? That's just not a good idea for them. Where is these... There's a heavy cruiser around here operating somewhere. Ah, yeah, you take part in that. All ships go down to take part in that. I have... What do I have? I have 680 submarines. It does help. It does help. Well, it's not so much I worked out how to beat the game system. It's just applied a little bit of the historical knowledge and went, oh, that would work. That would work. Okay, so it's, oh, let's see. It's, oh, that ship has no, yeah. 32 knot, 4600, yeah, that'll do. Okay, so you're going to notice something about my cruisers. I might build a generic cruiser type which actually just does the job for me. That might be my entire methodology. Build generic cruiser, send it into battle. Ah, Calabria. A gorgeous looking ship, let's be honest. She's a gorgeous looking ship. But think about that. A protected cruiser are only 2,700 tons. And fighting in the Italo-Turkish War, where she did really actually quite well there. She's quite scary little asset in that scenario. 4 5.9-inch guns, 4 4.7-inch guns, 16 lighter guns, and 2 18-inch torpedoes. Yep. Oh, there are 4. Oh, God. Oh, these missions are becoming predictable. Let's go. Right on. Let's find them again. Oh, goody. I am heading towards the thing that's firing me because potentially, although this is the French, the things that it wants to protect from me could be not far away. If I blast past it at high speed. Oh, there they are! Isn't that cute? Frickin' torpedoes. And that's me gone. There's one problem with the high-speed attack. You are open to the torpedoes. And the French torpedoes appear to work better than my own. Frigate. Luckily, they were duds. Smoke. Torpedoes. It's all the 21-inch. It's tons of torpedoes it's carrying. Let's see. Can we use our own torpedoes to take you out? Are you in torpedo range? I have a sneaking suspicion you are. How are they firing their torpedoes so quickly? Because he's got off multiple reloads and fires and time I didn't. So what have I not invested in torpedo tech? Okay, that's annoying. Dang. I made a mistake there. I got too close in the pass-by. Needed to make sure I was outside torpedo range. Need better sensors to avoid that in future. Need to upgrade those submarine, those destroyers, those cruisers. That's on me. That is on me. See, other people get to watch the dry dock from Drac and go, this is interesting. I have to go and watch I go look at the dry dock and immediately I go and check out what were the questions asked today and topics. And, oh great, there's a Tillman question. I just did a Tillman video, so I'm not going to get Tillman questions today. Lots of films questions, okay. How did a Kamikaze class where's she got it? Survive 5 kamikaze aircraft hits? Ooh, good lord. Yeah, thank you. That's Boadicea. Okay, next cruiser class is going to be Boadicea. I'm building 24 cruisers as we speak. They're all 16 months to completion. That's all done. That's terribly overbuilding. Due to actually just repairing mainly. It's the repairs which are really sapping the strength of the building. We'll sort it out. Submarine torpedoes done. Internals protection. Crew salvage program 5. Okay, that's not a cool one. Hull protection. Torpedo protection 5. I wouldn't mind that. Control station. Destroyer towers 2. Okay, I'm going to leave that be. Because I'm not building any destroyers anytime soon. I'll concentrate on the cruiser construction. Wasn't it? Yeah, probably due to the US, or like, and it could be like mine yesterday, where I put the video in, and it took roughly 3 hours to cycle through. So, I thought I was going to be late, but it took 3 hours to cycle through and accept it. So, I thought it was going to go, and my video last night was going to be about 8 o'clock. It took about 3 hours to cycle through. So, yeah. I was touching many, many hot button topics yesterday, in yesterday's video. What I find funny, though, I have to admit, whenever I see the hypotheticals put out and people go, well, you know, what's fun is a Tillman 4 versus this versus that. Tillman 4 number 2 with 16 24-inch guns or something like that. With 24 16-inch guns. So I go, if the Americans built the Tillman 4-2, do you think Yamato, Bismarck, or even the Royal Navy's N3s would have been built the same way? You know, you also, you then immediately have a treaty limit of 80,000 tons. It's... Oh, this is going to be an interesting fight. This is just going to be a nice little mix-up, isn't it? How's the book reading from the Australia trip going? I've got through most of the books. I've got a whole load of new books arrived today from family dropping them off. That's volume 1. I've got History of World War One, published by the Times. In was it published? That's an interesting thing. When was this book published? volume 1. This is volume 2. These huge tome books. They're very, very old paper. They're very old style writing. It's got a full map in it, which is useful. I think there are about a couple more volumes I've got to track down, but this is 1914, 1915. And they were published I think in the 1920s. From what I can see in here. Times History of the War. They are gorgeous books, but yes, I've got 1914 and 1915. Published by Printing House Square, London. Oh, good lord. So, yeah, they were dropped off by my aunt today. An aunt, by the way, who's already celebrating. She's going, there's no way you're going to get to 15,000 subscribers by Christmas, so I'm going to win again. And I'm sort of going, Christmas is a long way away, auntie. Christmas is a long way away. I think what would happen is for Britain, etc. If you consider it's a case of the Americans have built this ship, wonderful. I think the British probably do upgrade their infrastructure, but they're probably looking at building battleships which will have 16.5-inch guns if they are the battle cruiser types, and the battleship types will have 18-inch guns, and they'll probably go for a 12, 18-inch gun design. And basically go, right then, yes, you've got 16-inch, you've got 24 16-inch guns, great, but we've got 12 18-inch guns, and we might be able to build 2 of them to match your one. The whole thing is he's trying to win the qualitative race. And that's all set up. Yeah. So it's a case of, I think what the British end up doing is going, yeah, we can dictate the speed and pace of combat, so we don't really care. But yeah, I do think the British would probably end up with something which would have 12, 18-inch guns. Oh, so the US would have to build yards and infrastructure first. Oh, they had the yards. So trust me, their yards and infrastructure could have built ships that big. They'd have required a bit of investment, but they do have some very big yards. It's no surprise. The other criteria, which you probably don't realise as much with Tillman, is that they had to be able to build in yards which were Democratic Party yards. You know what I mean? Virginia, those sort of places. So yeah, they could have been built. Bum. Go off and attack. So, Tillman is not stupid. He's a political animal. That's entirely what he's after. And as I said before, the reason he wants to win the qualitative battle is so that he can qualitative competition, the qualitative race, is so that he can get them to concentrate on cruiser construction, which for him represents the best opportunities for Charleston, which is of course what's best for South Carolina, which of course is what's best for him, in his view. So that's the important thing, As said, there is no chance an Omaha class would be built without ships being built in Charleston, with Tillman still as chairman of the Navy Committee. It would be blocked. There'd be no chance it would get through. I'm not sure if the Navy would even propose such a thing. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? It did. That was a close one. The French are really reloading their torpedoes fast. They must have invested in that technology heavily. I'm both jealous and wishing I could match it. I think that's the battle over. Oh. Good secondaries defeat the cruisers and destroyers. Good primaries defeat everything else. But no, my view is any changes to Washington that improve construction and improve add more ships in the 1920s, the knock-on impact is worse for Germany in the 1940s. In the 1920s, 30s, vast majority is built on site, and it's not tends to be built by and moved by rail. It's often moved by sea, which is okay. So one of the advantages Britain has and this is something which cannot be on, is the yards and all the manufacturing facilities are mostly near the coast or on the coast, so the things can be floated between them. The problem for America and other countries is that they might have great yards on this coast and not so great yards on this coast, or vice versa, or they might have interest, but it's getting the stuff between them. So Britain, a lot of the stuff gets moved by sea. So if you're, let's say you need a gearbox and boilers which are manufactured, you want to build your ship at John Brown in this area, but you are getting gearboxes manufactured by Vickers from down here. They wouldn't be moved by rail. They'd be put on a ship and would go and around. But eventually you do get certain things moved by rail. A plate is often moved by rail. A lot of armor, a lot of materials, raw materials are moved by rail. Research. How's my submarine research worked itself? Yes, it has. That's all the torpedo contact. Yes, torpedo contact detonators. I'm just going to get that research done because I want to improve my torpedoes. And internals protection. Yes. So that should get all that sorted out. And submarines, I need to build some. What is the biggest and best mine-laying submarine I can get my hand on, and how many can I build? Mine-laying submarine number 4. Extra 6 mines. Extra 2 knots. That's useful. Stealth 11.7. Attack 1.8. I know I'm being evil, but it works, okay? 100 more submarines, please. And yeah, I'm gonna have to scrap some submarines at some point, but you know, not today. Not today. Be back in a second. I'm just going to quickly sort something out in the garden I spotted. Yes, it's following me. It's following me. More person gesticulating wildly. Dead rat in garden. They're going, ah, what do we do? Well, I'll get rid of it. Not now, but in a bit I'll sort it out. Not a corgi kill. Looks like it just died. The corgi hasn't yet got to the stage of managing to actually kill the rats yet, because none of them is stupid enough to wander that close across his path. There will be at some point, but you know, not yet. Not yet. Let's see if we catch it. Shall we? I can understand why he's running. You know, it's not as if this thing has... Well, I think that's 27 6-inch guns. Died next to one of next to our shed in the back of the garden. M62 and A1 were good today. That is amazing, Leslie. That is very unusual. Paul, I love the way you think that she already doesn't have a plan and design. She has full designs already. It's already going to have what she's calling a SIPS extension, which is insulated panel system extension, and already ideas, and we haven't even signed on the dotted line or sorted out all the details yet, because we had all the details sorted out, but it turned out they need to be sorted out again, because whilst we've been led and told that we could have them all sorted out and then have them waiting for us, apparently we couldn't. Yeah. My sister is she's speccing this design up to the nth degree, and the budget is going to be such that hopefully we get a good sized company involved in its work, and I will be overseeing. And there is actually debate about. I will literally be overseeing it. The only job I will be working while overseeing it is going to be YouTube. The only stuff I'll be doing is the YouTube stuff. Mainly because I need something to stop me going mad doing it. It's got 14 tanks. That's not a battleship. That's... Let's do this battle. It is going to be a very interesting and well-built design. The only thing we've cut out of the build to save money for the initial build is the idea of extending my bedroom from the design over the bathroom, over the garage, because we're building a garage, and the idea was to give me a larger bedroom, which would do me for long terms, because I'd have on my space I'd have a large bedroom space, which would have plenty of space for my bed and other things, and you know, give me a quite nice its own sort of bathroom upstairs, sort of thing. So I'd have an ensuite in my bedroom, and I'm not going to get that now, because frankly, I was looking at the financial cost extra, and I just went, there's no point doing that. There is no point adding that on. I do think we should probably get planning permission for it, so it can be done when we do have the money, because planning permission can last a while. But, yeah. Pause again. Right then. So, we've got the battleships, we've got the heavy cruisers. Where are the heavy cruisers? Follow. Scout. And Town and Gloucester. We're going to detach you two. And you are going to screen them. Okay. That should keep all that nicely organised. Take that down to 25 knots. Put that on AI. We're going to hear some crashing and banging while it sorts itself out. I do apologise now. Oh, good lord. That was one of you guys firing, wasn't it? Already? How did you do that? Okay. How did you sink something with your first shot? Because that's a bit cruel. Triumph, I have great respect for you, but that's cruel, okay? That is getting on for cruel. What is that destroyer doing? Which group is Taurus part of? Taurus is supposed to be screening you all. And it can't get past you to screen. You're doing 25 knots. Taurus, why are you not... why is this screen... They're all supposed to be maxing their speed out in their screening rolls. Yeah. If it's like Conway, CBC, planning is essential for anything more than a baby garden shed. There are some requirements, certainly. And we're working through those requirements. We're working through them as efficiently and as diligently as we can. Go off. Attack. Attack. This is why I bring a sworn destroyers with me. Attack. Leave the cruisers on screening duties because I want to keep them out of the melee, but I'm going to send the destroyers into it. And just go boom, 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 boom. Torpedoes have done for one of my battleships. This is annoying me. This is annoying me greatly. It's always the French torpedoes. I don't like history. They are very good with the torpedoes. Yeah, Triumph had both achieved a golden BB and then got sunk by torpedoes. And I don't think my designs... That's not a design which is going to get sunk by 2 torpedoes. It's got 19 inches of belt armor for starters. I do sometimes think torpedoes are treated like golden BBs when they hit on this game. If they actually hit and actually work, they are treated... They do a massive amount of damage. Also, I have found turning towards the torpedoes tends to be a slightly better strategy than turning away from the torpedoes. But honestly, if you are too close range, then the torpedo spread is going to get you. New Zealand is just proving... New Zealand is one of my oldest battleships out there, and she's just doing a New Zealand. This is... You're not supposed to be doing this. I have told you before in these games, whenever I function in a ship named New Zealand, it's practically unkillable. Just because it's called New Zealand. I don't know how they managed to factor in that with a name. Da 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 da. Fred the Comb. Freddie the Comb. How's the rest of my fleet doing? What the? It's one of the things I find annoying about the fleet is that they don't. You give them instructions. I'm going along in a cruiser in a battleship which has a top speed of 28 knots. They are all capable of 33, 35 plus knots, and they aren't keeping up with me. There's HMS New Zealand. All ships New Zealand. It is tempting. But I always do quite good on the anti-flood and the armor. I always try and put the best in that I can. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see. Lots of people playing World of Warships at the moment on the various games. I was wondering when my phone started vibrating. I know I'm going to have... Gain control of the French Antilles. It's good. Fleet. Move to here. Fleet. Move to here. Fleet. Move to here. Can I do another naval invasion of France? I can. Western France. Yes. I don't care if I'm turning it with enough tonnage or not. I think it's your tactics that make New Zealand have a spirit entity. Potentially, but I think it's New Zealand. I think it's the name. I think it's the name. See, here's the thing. Why is there a convoy battle going in the range of this much capital ship power and it's just involving a couple of cruisers? How are my finances doing? What's my research doing? Supposed to have done? Shells. What's the shell coming along? What's the shell stuff doing? Advanced naval research. Plus 0.5% gun range, 1% armor piercing shell fire chance. Plus 0.5% to shell weight, 2% to shell cost, 0.3% to shell. That's nice, but not something I'm really going to care too much about. If I get in 12 months, that's great. Small guns. 8-inch guns. I don't have any ships which have 8-inch guns. They all have 6-inch or 6-inch or 9.2. So that's useful for me, but more useful once I get further along. So internals protection is still better, and hull protection is still better. What's this one like? Sonar station number 3. That will definitely be researched, because that will help me with dealing with torpedoes. Anything that allows me to hear torpedoes coming from longer away so I have more time to turn is better. So what's the question? Yeah. That fight should be a quick win for them. Nothing damage to my side. Sunk on their side. Heavy damage. And the Bay of Biscay. So, here's the question just coming through on the YouTube channel. What would the Americans get if the British had gotten a 16.5-inch guns on their battleships? Well, that's an interesting question, because if the British had gone the 16.5-inch guns, let's say, for the G3s and got them in earlier. Let's say, instead of trying to start off with 18, they went with 16.5-inch design from straight away, or they did that for the Admiral class. They had 16.5-inch. I think you end up with the limit being 16.5-inch, because remember, it was technically 16.1-inch. Anyway, so 16.5-inch could end up being the limit. Because you can make that, it's going to be 420 millimeters. So 420 millimeter guns would be what you would call 16.5-inch guns, and people would most likely be happy with that. But for the Americans, that would mean immediately they'd have 16-inch gun ships. They can't really go and do anything about that, but they might go, well, actually, we want to complete some 16.5-inch ships. So if the British have, let's say, have managed to get 4 16.5-inch gun ships into service before the treaty goes through, or let's say they managed to push them through. Let's say they took earliest design and added built it with 16.5-inch gun 16.5-inch guns, which were being worked on. Not those. Not that one. It's when your own videos become a key point of reference for people, and they keep coming up. It's a fun thing. Let's see. Well, if they go with one of the earlier designs, let's say they go with for battle cruiser, it would be a battle cruiser, because that's what they were. That's what they worry about building, because they're looking at a war maneuver. So they were thinking battle cruiser, battle cruiser, battle cruiser. Let's say you take the K3 design. Okay? Could take the K2, but let's say you take the K3 design. And you build that with 16.5-inch guns. It's got 9, it would have 9 guns, just the same as the G3. It has 2 turrets forward, 1 turret aft. As originally designed, it was going to carry 18-inch guns, but it's carrying 16.5-inch, so there's 420mm rather than 450. So that's going to affect its weight, etc. Let's say it's going to be in there for roughly 50,000 tons. Now, a K3 is a lovely option. As I've got that, I'm going to quickly put that up on screen for you all. Add image. Properties. And we want the K3. That's massive. That's come out as. Not sure why it's quite so big. But let's say, if you've got the K3 design as your option here, and you've gone with the K3, you could have got this into service if you'd gone with the design instead of carrying on the Admirals. You could have cancelled the Admirals in about 1917, and started building this. 1917, 1918. Something similar to this could have been built quite easily with the technology and the understanding at the time. Build 16.5-inch guns. So you get this into service for Washington Duty. What's that going to do? Well, the Americans are going to say that, right, and you've got 4 16.5-inch gun ships. You consider at the treaty, they're setting the 16-inch limit, and the Americans only have in service 1 16-inch ship, and they have 2 more coming. So they're going to have 3. So your limit is based on what are the biggest guns in the service. The biggest in the service is going to be 16.5-inch. So that's going to set the limit as the 16.5-inch ship. It's also probably going to set the tonnage limit at about 50,000 tons. So, yeah. Basically, the entire existence of a ship like this is going to cause a lot of worry for many of the American constructions at the time. But, you know, they'd probably still go with it. They probably would still go with it. But it is a kind of, sort of, what do the Americans do? They go with 16.5-inch limit as well, and honestly, they might keep to building the 16-inch, because they might go, you know, it's just, there's no differential, there's no real advantage for us in, because you think about the sheer amount of logistical effort and changes you'd have to do to change from a 16-inch production to a 16.5-inch, and change everything for half an inch to be gained, you're not going to do it. You're going to keep the 16-inch. There is no way Congress is going to give you the money to do that over half an inch. The amount of small penile jokes that would be made at your expense would be obscene. But it would cause an interesting response, and the Americans might well demand they can build more, and the British will then demand they can build more, and who knows, you might end up with the British and the Americans both having roughly 8 ships each, which have 16.5-inch guns. The British having 12 ships with 15-inch guns, and the Americans having all their 14-inch ships, and that being called the end of it all. Either way, you have that many ships in the service with 16.5-inch guns. It's going to make things interesting for a lot of people. There are a lot of submarines being built. I have a lot of submarines in service. This is good for me. And another question coming in on the chat. Oh, there's a lot of questions coming in this morning on the comments on the Tillman phone, which I might expect more than I'd normally get on a Sunday morning. If the counties had 12-inch, 8-inch guns, What do you see the towns ending up as? If you put part of the extra 2,000 tons in armour for 8-inch ships, does the 6-inch still have the theoretical advantage it did previously, as the 8-inch ship might be able to resist 6-inch fire? That all becomes an interesting thing, because if the 8-inch ship can now resist 6-inch fire, and has a greater overall rate of fire because of it having this fire having 12 rather than 8 guns, you might find the differential changes. It might be the 6-inch cruiser is truly a light cruiser, and the 8-inch cruiser is truly a sort of heavy cruiser. And please note, it's still a sort of heavy cruiser, because let's be honest, if it was a real heavy cruiser, we'd be talking 9.2-inch guns, and we'd be talking about 15 to 18,000 tons in this era. The trouble is, the treaty is based around a large light cruiser design, which is what the Hawkins class were. The Hawkins were not heavy cruisers, and that's one of the reasons it causes you such a differential between cruisers and capital ships. But also, I think if the British have been building a larger cruiser in terms of the Hawkins class, so that's the based on design. I don't think you necessarily have the small capital ships you do. Because think about it, guy. You know, if you want clear water between a capital ship and a cruiser, 35,000 tons works for 10,000 tons. But if you're at 15,000 tons, well, that clear water you previously had was 25,000 tons, so you got up to 40,000 tons. Anything, there are various points around which would seriously move those figures. Let's get me on with 11-inch guns, 11-inch guns, 11-inch guns, 6-inch guns. Fight, auto resolve. Let's see what happens. Okay. That's a tech upgrade. That is a tech upgrade. Don't need that to be pushing on there. Don't need that to be pushing on there. Shells, that's the one which adds the expense, and also it's a balanced thing, so I'm not really going to push on that. So I'll push on the hull protection. Is there any of these which look like areas I want to be pushing on? What's the next thing that's likely going to come through on boilers? Oh, that could be advanced funnels. It could be advanced funnels. Coal-fired, oil-fired. I'd love to get a gas. Engines. Marine diesels, not yet clear yet. No, it won't be. Hull strengthening. What's the next one? Advanced hull materials. Hulls become... Oh, that's traditionally in 1942. Floatability. I'll take that. That could be useful to me. Rangefinders. I'm presuming that's going to be improved radar, so I'm going to want that, and hull strengthening. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. Self-escorting ships are also a viable thing. It's again, it's one of those things. If you have slightly more tonnage, you could certainly have built capital ships and aircraft carriers far more securely. But the whole point really was, in many ways, of the treaties was to try and make war impossible by making no one have good ships, and it didn't work. Kind of like the idea life will find a way. People will find a way to have a war if they want to have a war. That should be a fairly one-way fight. So why did they decide to have the invasion take place up there? Not really helpful, but we'll do it. We will do it. Got an alliance on the Americans. Let's prove relations with the Japanese, because I'd rather not have all of them just yet, but I have a feeling one's coming, whether I like it or not, because they broke the alliance. You're still going? Yes, I am. How are we doing? I am... well, I'm not, at some point I'm going to get told about my dinner. At some point I will get told. Dinner time. Any ships I can refit? No. None I can refit. No. There's some... no other ships. No, I won't. I think the new battleships I'm building, if I remember correctly, are the Revengers. Yes, I'm building the Revengers. If I remember viewing these ships. This is what I've got under construction, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 16 16.5-inch guns. 9 6-inch guns on either side, so 18 of those in total. And I think enough capability. Not sure why they have boats sitting at the back quite like that. The British don't tend to do that, but you know. Be happy and all that. Now some boats in the centre there, that's more normal. I have covered up the hangar bays with a funnel, so, you know, hey-ho. Don't think we're launching any aircraft. I don't think there's any catapults on deck, so it doesn't really matter. I think potentially these are what we call Armageddon coming your way. I think that potentially that's what we're going to call this. Wow, there's a long ad break going on for those who see ads. I do apologise. I do apologise. Come on, UAD, come on. There's a massive dock. It's, yeah. Just freezing. The economics. Doing slightly not as well as the American GDP wise. Population wise, I've got over half their home state population, but I've got many times their global population. My army is over 10 times their size. Provinces 13, provinces 167. Yeah. $1,158. Okay. All right. Yes. So I'm not certain why I'm not doing as well for allies. I'm a fairly good, fairly safe bet. I'm quite friendly with most people. Italy's being a bit rude at the moment. Japan decided to break their budget with me, their alliance with me, but that's on them. My crew pool is small, but that's because it's mostly deployed on ships. I have got 1,000 ships in service. That is not good. You know, there's only so much you can do. And fighting a war. And I'm soon going to have a maximum shipyard of size of 290,000 tons. Which should start boosting not just the individual size of ship, but number of ships I can build per yard. That means I can build, you know, more. 265. Not sure how to reach it. 810,000 tons, but it does. Sure, there's a factor into that. Naval invasion going. These ships are supposed to have moved up there. Naval invasion over here. Chance 88%. I don't know how the chance is anything less than 100%, but okay. There's a convoy battle going on over here. Pioneer versus Triumphant. That is a merchant ship which is going to get sunk. What's hull strengthening working on? It is the advanced hull materials number 2. It's going to make things interesting. It is a very big dock, but it's a worthwhile dock. It is a worthwhile dock. There is currently a vital text message stream, a WhatsApp message stream going back and forth between me and my mum over lunch, because my mum is supervising lunch, because lunch is making. And literally my mum's sending pictures going through. It's looking okay. It's looking good. It's looking okay. It's looking good. Our relations are better with Japan now. That's good. Unlikely to have a war anytime soon then. Do I want to improve relations with anyone else? I cannot improve relations with the Americans. They're just maximum. The French, they're just negative everything because of me doing nasty things to them. Shall I improve relations with the Italians? Because they have free ships active. No, I'm not going to bother to improve relationships with them. I am going to just laugh at them. Okay? They're humiliated, naval prestige and concerned. Disrespected, but very content. Humiliated, but content. Respectful, and naval prestige. Distrustful in terms of the nation's people. Admired, and content. Admired, and concerned. Oh, good lord. They should be well concerned about what? Unrest is high. Oh, good lord. I've got to win some more battles, haven't I? Oh, big guns. What's they developing? Mark IV, 12-inch gun. Do I have any 12-inch ships left in service? Probably, possibly do. Possibly do. Should probably improve that, therefore. All cycle of Fruitos. Take care, Paul. Oh, lunch is just coming out the oven. So, I'm going to say here is actually a fairly good place to leave it. So I'm going to say thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Runon. Thank you, Jonathan Moon. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Allspike and Steve. Thank you, everyone who's been chatting away. Thank you, Randale Fan. Thank you, Guardsman14. Thank you, Chaos Runner. Thank you, everyone who's been watching today. Hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Random Dale Fun, hello. Thank you very much for joining us and chatting away. Thank you, everyone, and Runon, of course. Thank you, everyone who's been here today, and hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and hopefully see you later, and brew ships. Yeah, da da.